Okay, next presentation. Actually, I'm a bit of a fan of Japan, and on my last trip, I saw a lot of people taking the metro with their phones. You see the near-field communication, the RFID chips we use in cards. It's also coming in Belgium, in Brussels. And in Japan, they actually can install it in their phones. And I said, oh, it's really cool. But, well, there might be issues with some implementations. And I think that's more or less what the next talk is about.
Sorry for the delay.
If you know a good joke, you can tell it, because I'm a really lousy singer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's well, there are no real jokes to start with, but we actually try to incorporate our talk with a little bit with the theme. And the theme is this conference is hacking for beer. So that's actually what we are trying to do, to hack our way with beer in the context we are talking about. So I'm still booting up my computer, so my excuse for this delay. Anyway, let me introduce myself. I'm Fkooman Verdult. I work at the Radboud University Nijmegen, and this is my co-speaker, François Coleman. You can introduce yourself.
Okay. I'm François. I work at SurfNet. It's a Dutch NREN located in Utrecht. It's similar to Internet 2 or Bell Net, for example. And I'm a trainee there, and I do all kinds of interesting work on IPv6 and RFID security and everything that is related to something cool. I'm also playing with video and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. So everybody saw my mess on the desktop, so that's nice to see. But actually, we are like almost ready now. One bug of Microsoft, and then we get to the full screen button. So, well, let's go over actually where we're going to talk about. It's about NFC, and let me first introduce the term because it's actually not written somewhere. It's near field communication, and I go into that, where it comes from, and where actually what it means, what it should do, and what you can do with it. So I give like the background story, what it should be, what is the nasty parts, and what can we do with it. Actually, there are a few things we can do with it. Yeah, further in the talk, we're getting more hardcore actually in what the features we can unlock. And yeah, François will actually bring the nicest ones in the end. And maybe we'll give a demo if we have some time. But so, well, we kind of did this already, the introduction of us. So it's about, I had a few publications about MyFair Classic. That's an RFID tag. It's related to RFID, near field communication. But I'll come to that. It's as you can see here, it's like the successor of an RFID. RFID chip. RFID is radio frequency identification. There are several kind of standards for that. So you have the one with the proximity, one with the vicinity distance, and you have the Japanese one, which was already quoted before. And they're like all manufacturers, big manufacturers, and they wanted to have control over actually the world during this RFID crisis, but they were like, we can try to get our product, the main one, or you just can join the competition and say, well, take your product, take my product, take his product, and we just all call it NFC. So that's actually what they did. And so they added some extra features to this RFID, but with some expansions, and it is that you can have a peer-to-peer communication. you can emulate a tag, so an RFID tag, which is more for backwards compatibility modes. And yeah, it's more designed to get in a kind of context with secure elements. You can have some smart card which can store secure stuff for you and do some real crypto, because RFID, if you look at the low frequency ones, they're actually just shouting out a number and that's it. So, well, it's mainly used in mobile phones, but yeah, it's like, since this RFID is a kind of old legacy thingy, people start calling this public transport cards also NFC. Although those were kind of in the middle of what it is, RFID or NFC, but yeah, what it is actually, it's like it's touch and go. That's the principle. So you take your phone, for example, and you see a nice poster and you touch it, and it gives you yeah, all kinds of information. It sends you a message, gives you a link to a ringtone, and get spam, whatever you want. So that is kind of the main thing they want to set around in the world with NFC. And that's also like communication between two phones. So let me first go to what is this RFID is. Most of you probably know, but just give a short introduction again. It's radio frequency identification. So it consists of a reader and a tag. And well, actually these NFC chips, which are in the phones, are a reader and a tag. You just specify to the phone, well, be a reader now, and then he is a reader. So what is a reader actually? That is the controlling part, creating an electromagnetic field, and it gives a power to the tag. And the tag is the other side. It's a passive receiving part, which gets controlling actually questions from the reader. It's a master-slave principle, and then it responds with the answers. There are different kind of codings, and I can deeply go into that, but actually this talk is about more the higher levels. But if you have interest and want to ask me about it, just come after the talk. So yeah, identification was mainly used for such a stuff like implants in people, and yeah, that's the real identification. That's real the RFID where it comes from. But as you see in going on development and expanding the features of it, you get way much more applications. So you can see that e-passports use RFID, but they have a smart card, and they actually have so much crypto in it. It's you can call it more compatible to this NFC than it actually is only that identify number what it sends back. But it started in already in the Second World War with identifying airplanes. But yeah, you see all different kind of applications here. Car keys, you probably know about it, but as you can see, it's a bunch of manufacturers which actually all build their own standard, their own product, and sold it for a lot of million times, and sometimes 100 million times. So if you have so much products already in the world being incompatible to each other, they just try to create kind of a joint way to get this over with. So all the manufacturers are like exchanging the protocols and saying, okay, you can build a chip to talk to mine products, and I'll build a chip to talk to your products, and that's called NFC. So all these bunches is kind of incorporated in this NFC stuff. Well, let me now go into the real NFC story. This is what it is meant to be. You have two phones, and they can you can touch them together, and you can send something. So like, oh, I want to share my whether you have your business card or your contact or someone else contact. Oh, you want this? And then you touch, and it's like bleep. Oh, thanks. So that's what it should be, and there is no real user interaction needed. It's like, okay, a Bluetooth, oh, we have to set up a pairing, you touching your code, I touching your code, is it correct, and oh, what was your name of your device again? It's like getting over that step and just touch and be connected. So then you have more the commercial side of the story. It's like posters which gives you information. Now this is only a touch point or show, but they're you see in Japan way more just on the bus stations, but everywhere like a poster like, oh, you want some more info, or you want some freebie coupon, just press your phone against this wall and then you'll get an extra Fouché coupon thingy. Yeah, that's like getting interaction with a poster, so that's a smart poster, it's called. Yeah, it's for commercial sites, it's really interesting. So they are kind of pushing, trying to people get, oh, everyone should have an NFC phone. So I guess from in the room here, I mean, it's a nice experience. But who can, everybody who has an NFC phone raise their hand? How you got one? So they're like, yeah, 3 of us, and 1 of us is a friend, so. That's actually the thing. They're pushing this for 10 years already, and yeah, only some geeks, developers, or kind of researchers have these stuff. But Nokia said next year all smartphones of them should have NFC. So that's nice because we're going to show some nice stuff about the Nokia NFC phones. So. What is actually the bad dream that comes with this technology for NFC? It's the backwards compatibility issues. That's what I already said before. They're like, it comes from RFID, so it has some backwards compatibility, and that's not always what you want. RFID was designed to identify someone. NFC is designed to do whatever you want with it, also anonymous stuff. But yeah, how can you do anonymous stuff if it starts shouting out a fixed ID number, for example? So that's a kind of overlapping which doesn't fit. So then we have like a weird responsibility issues in the phones, who is now really the secure storage, who really controls what, and definitely in mobile phones the telcos want to have control, but the manufacturer also wants to have control. But then we also have this NFC group who manufacture secure elements, which also should have the control. So it's kind of nobody knows where it goes. Then you have NFC is only pushed by marketing and commercials because they want to have this on every poster in every street, but nobody really knows what features really is useful for a customer. So they're just pushing it to get into people's lives, but how it is defined in people's lives, that is just has to be discovered. Maybe in Japan we can learn from it, but I didn't saw it here already. So yeah, we have the manufacturers with all their proprietary stuff. It's always related to manufacturers. They are like, okay, so this is nice technology, it's open, it's standard, but let's tweak it and change it a little bit, so only our phones work the best with our equipment of other phones. So in the end you have like all products who talk almost good with each other, and after like a few seconds there's something weird, or you can do extra features if you talk just a slight dialect. So yeah, we try to look at it and enable most of the features. So then we have the problem you always have, and now I'm going a little bit deeper in security, is with proximity well, not really with proximity, but with the wireless transactions, you have the relay problem. You can relay something from one side to another. So this said, we can fix that because we made a proximity device. A proximity means 5 to 10 centimeters. So if we have a phone and we keep it close, it can communicate. But if I'm standing here and someone is there with a reader, I'm safe because he cannot actually enter my phone. And that's of course not the case with Bluetooth and wireless. So this is already physically safer. That's the marketing talk, of course, because if you look at how you can change that, it's pretty easy. It's like we work together, and François is like standing at a cashier. He wants to buy some very nice electrical equipment we want for a new research, for example, and I'm just looking for someone who has an NFC. What's an NFC credit card, for example. You have this RFID NFC credit cards in London. I've seen them from Barclays, but also they're now rolling out in the Netherlands, also in US. So I'm just standing next to one who has it in his pocket, and standing next to him in the bus for 5-10 centimeters is not that weird, and I can just challenge his tag or his credit card. And I just communicate over whatever GSM protocol to my colleague, and he is paying with the credit card of someone else. And that's just the wireless relay problem, which you always have. So we can talk about how to make this all secure. And sure, there are some people with distance bounding protocols, but it actually means, let's make the timer so close that it's hard to do. But hard to do doesn't fix it, because of course the transmission always gets faster and then you're behind again. So, that's a problem with the relay. Let's go to more in this what comes with the backwards compatibility. If you look at this RFID, it comes with a UID. I said that it's a fixed number and it shouts it out, and that's not really what you want. If you want to have some anonymous programs, if you want to have yes, like features using NFC, that is not the features that are really depending on holding your privacy together. So they have to put some quick fixes into it that you can make your UID random, but it's not really working because, for example, they incorporate this MyFair Classic tag into this NFC. They're like, if you go to NFC, we have to, because MyFair Classic is already almost sold 2 billion times in the world, so we want to use that next to NFC. So then you have your bad component again. The NFC is a kind of okay technology, at least in a security sense, because you can use good protocols, but the crypto protocol from MyFair Classic is totally broken. So you can use that as a backdoor again on a phone like this to identify someone or read part of the information you want to store or share. Now then we have the actually that's what the main thing I said. RFID systems are not designed for privacy, and NFC actually they are trying to do that, but it's hard. So this is who is responsible for what problem. There are you have this operating system makers, you have the telcos with the SIM cards, you have the phone manufacturer, you have people who make secure storage on a micro SD card, but you also have those who make the EEPROM or the protected EEPROMs, and then you have the tags actually embedded into the phone, and then you have the chip that communicates from the secure element to the phone, but also over the antenna. So, and they all want to have their they all say like our part is really the most secure part. So it's like with every update, one of the sides wins again, and then the responsibility lays it in another party. So it's really weird to get really identification of where where you have to look, or where or for a hacker, where the most interesting stuff is stored. But if you actually look at in a way that we wanted to get just a picture and like, okay, so what can we do with it? It's kind of nice because since they all try to have the control, they all try to have the most important features. So it's like the most important and most high valued features are floating in the middle, which is communicated between all the stuff all the time. So yeah, that's easy then to intercept or to find a bug there, because it's always hard to get that right. So let's check. Then we have the NDEV. NDEV is actually, I told about this posters, but a poster is only a thing, and I said there can be a message on it, there can be a link on it, there can be some noise with you can get from like a link to a radio station, or you can get a message, business card. You can even set an alarm like, oh, tomorrow morning there is a nice TV show, just press your phone here and I will bleep tomorrow morning that you have to see it. But there was also a nice one there, it's Bluetooth pairing. Why is it there? They said like, yeah, Bluetooth is so nasty, because I mean you have to do all this stuff to get this all running, and so what we do is we create NFC, and NFC is physically bounded. You only get close to someone, and then you press, touch something or wave it around it, and then what you get is that it actually gets in a pairing or sets up a pairing with another device. When you have a pairing, you can do a lot more. You can get into a headset phone, or you can transfer files. So that's where we want to go with. That's what they said in the NFC forum. And then they said in Bluetooth, sure, you can do this, but we have to do it in a secure way. And then the manufacturer said, oh, we know a way. And then the Java side said, oh, we implement also a way. And then, so that's all the parties that are now involved again. And they're creating like five, I guess, different ways to do it. And we just focus on one, we look deep into it, and we try to get the most out of it. So it's a Java GSL 257 extension who's used for that. It's in the midlet suite, and you can create like Java midlets for a phone, and then you use that to communicate over all these techniques, Bluetooth and NFC. So what is actually a nightmare with this stuff? Let's go into that. This was the original idea. I showed you can touch a phone together and you can do something. So I want to send over some picture of a football guy, and it's only like hold it close and I can send my picture. So this was interesting because we were like, okay, so we can send the picture, but how is it done? And then the phones actually show that the touching the other phone works, but I noticed that my Bluetooth icon went on. I have Bluetooth always off on my phone. So I was like, how is this possible? I don't want to use Bluetooth, I want to use NFC. I mean, this is new technology, right? So I tried again, and it's the same. And I looked at the other phone, and also it sets Bluetooth on. So it was kind of weird. But it seems that NFC is made for communicating like configuration of something, but not really made to communicate a file. So what it actually does is, okay, let's touch together, and then this phone sends to the other phone, please open a Bluetooth channel for me on this MAC address because I'm that. And this one says, oh, okay, I do it for you, so I also open that channel, and then I'll show the file to you. And the other party only gets in the end a message like, okay, this file was transferred to you. So it was no question like, do you want it or not? It's only like, here it is. So this is the process that how it actually went on, and you see that it's using an OBEX push, so it doesn't need a pairing for Bluetooth. It just uses a way. I don't know. OBEX push is also coming from some kind of backwards compatibility with a very old standard of Bluetooth, but it's used. You can just say, I'm sending a file, and then the other side is, okay, I can receive the file and I don't need any more information about it. But the phone is limited to send just a passive object. So you can send a picture or a message or maybe a simple sound object, but that's it. It's not really active or games or applications. But so what if we like change it and not use this phone to touch the other phone, but use our computer reader to touch the phone? I mean, it's like if it is in someone's pocket and it doesn't need a confirmation to push a file to it, you can just touch it, push a file to it, and well, it would be nice to do more than only a passive object, right? So yeah, what we did was we tried to get an idea of this transaction that went on between the phones, and it occurs to us that it was not encrypted at all. There was no real security information. It was only like an exchange of MAC addresses. Yeah, what it said was, so I marked them on the screen. You see it. This is my MAC address. Okay, well, this is my MAC address, and then we, yeah, I'm the initiator, so I'm sending, and I'm the target, so you can send it to me. Well, actually, there are quite some more bits in it. We did not all identified it. What we just did is record this and replay it with our reader. So, and that gives us the possibility to actually transmit a different thing. Not only a passive object, but we created a midlet suite with a package and then just a simple but of course evil application. We created it that it would automatically fire on an event. Yeah, that's possible again because if you use the right terms, you can set in the configuration file of your package that this file should be executed when a certain event is occurred. In these events, there is actually the tag discovery event. So that means if a tag comes close, a tag is something like this poster I said, but you can also emulate it or use a card from a public transport system. If that comes close to the phone, then the phone says, oh, I found a tag, oh, then I have to execute this application. So, but this is also contactless and without confirmation. So that would mean that if we upload an application to the phone, which is registered to execute by getting in contact with getting in contact, that's kind of weird because it's getting in contact less with a tag, it actually starts up and yeah, does what we want. So this is all contactless. And that's actually the main issue here. We can access the phone, push an application to it, no, actually force it to the Bluetooth on, then push an application to it, register that it should fire automatically, and yeah, without actually any user interaction. And during our test, of course, we made some typos and mistakes, but without getting like a nice invalid error message like, oh, you're not sending the right stuff. the phone just expects something, and if it gets something else, it gets, oh my god, crash, so it reboots. So it's kind of fun, because if we were doing this attack, you would say, oh, in the end there is still, and then the one that if I pressed to his phone this application, I send it to him, then he actually has a user in the end like, oh, there was something uploaded to your phone and it's executed. So, but if we reboot the phone afterwards, yeah, there's nothing to see, and it's a soft reboot, so it doesn't need any PIN code, so you even don't see that your phone is rebooted. So that's quite nice. It's a real contactless way of getting into another one's phone without user interaction needed. So yeah, we wanted to actually get to this theme of the whole conference, and it was hacking for beer. So what we did is creating a smart beer instead of a smart poster, and we can touch with our beer. It's a way actually to get this beer should intrigue me to get close to it. It's like this what you see in Japan, like these posters. It's like, oh, I want to know more about this beer. So what kind of beer is it? And if I press this green dot in front of it, should it give me anything? So that's what I'm going to do. It's like, oh yeah, it says also Nokia, so it's probably compliant. So I press the phone against it, and it gives me the question, do you want to connect? This is a smart beer, and it gives the question, do you want to connect beer? That's in my screen now. So of course I want to connect to beer. So yeah, what we do is we connect to beer. And then you see there is a pairing. Oh my god, I just told you about we don't need a pairing, but how is this possible? It's now pairing with a beer. So, okay, we're paired with beer. That's nice. That's nice. But what's going on now? It also starts connecting to beer. What does that mean? Well, it means that we now have a headset which is called beer in the phone memory. But that's actually if you look in the specification. But if you just press it, it says connect to beer. Yes. Okay, and that was it. Then there was no real interaction anymore needed, and I just wanted to get information. But at this point, we already have a paired communication with his computer actually, which means that what we can do is all the features you could do with a paired Bluetooth connection. So yeah, we just tried to get more information and more like interesting for the people here. What can we do with a Nokia paired connection, paired Bluetooth connection? Oh yeah, there was one simple detail, but it's trivial, of course. We don't have any Bluetooth anymore. So I touch it, and it says, oh, do you want to connect with beer? Yes. And then it forces Bluetooth on, it sets up the pairing, and then it drops Bluetooth. And that's sad, because if we have this paired connection, I want to abuse it, of course. So, what if we combine this this first attack we talked about with the second one? So, I said we can actually push an object over the Bluetooth without any user interaction. Just getting something close to the one standing and enabling his Bluetooth on for at least 50 seconds, and if it has no interaction then it drops. But if you start doing stuff, it just keeps on as long as you want. So if someone touched with the beer, after that it's the real victim if he gets close to one of our objects that enables his Bluetooth. That's actually what we are going to going to show in the demo. But Francois goes now deeper into what we can do with this pairing.
Okay, thank you, Roel. For my thesis I was working on Nokia security, and I found some very interesting problems with it. For instance, it is possible to install a certificate on the phone that is then used to authenticate midlets you install. By default, some authorities are included, but of course if you want to have your own signed midlet, you have to pay one of these authorities to get a valid certificate. And well, that's just expensive, around 200 euros, I guess. So what I was able to do is install my own certificate and then run my signed applications. That is actually one of the exploits I found, and that is what you can do if you have set up a pairing with a phone. So in the case of the pairing before, we can now install this certificate and then install an application which is then actually signed by a trusted authority. A little bit about the applications. It's called a midlet suite. It contains some Java classes that are written for specifically for mobile phones using the Java Mobile Edition platform. And yeah, okay, so installing your own certificate is not allowed according to the specifications. As you can see here, after device manufacture, it must not be possible to install your own certificate, although we were able to do that anyway. So how does this work? We can use the Bluetooth connection that the PC suite of Nokia also uses to access the phone, and then actually access a hidden file system there that contains certificates and some certificate directory that has a list of certificates and their permissions, so if they can be used to authenticate midlet suites or web servers or something like that. And for some reason they decided to just give you read-write access to the phone file system, so you can extract files and modify them and upload new ones. So what we did was add CERT certificates to the phone and made it in such a way that it can be used to authenticate our created midlet suites. Yeah, this is just what else I was doing during writing my thesis. I was creating my own Ant build tools to create these midlet suites, because otherwise you would need to use the Sun, a wireless toolkit, or some other crappy software that of course does not run on your 64-bit machine, and well, and this also makes it possible to sign your midlet suites with the certificate you obtain through CERT in this particular instance. Yes, in addition to the midlet suite, there is, or this is actually part of the midlet suite, but there are two files. There's a jar file and a JAT file that contains information about the midlet suite, like manufacturer and name and what Java class to run when you start the midlet suite, and also the lines in bold are actually about the certificates and the signing of this midlet suite. So if you upload an application and it's authenticated by an installed certificate, it will say certificate yes. Actually it means that it is trusted by the phone now, and well, it can have a certificate and not be trusted, but then it would say no here. This is what the rule talked about before, that you can create a midlet suite that is automatically launched on some external event. The first line says that it will launch the class tag launch when some MyFair 4K tag is touched with any UID. It's a star here. So when you keep MyFair 4K card next to it, it will launch this application without any user interaction. And the next line is just to indicate that you want to use the push registry, which is what this automatic launching is called. And well, okay. So another attack that is possible, that if you have installed midlet suite, by default, if you don't use any signing, it will be placed in the untrusted third-party domain, security domain, or in the trusted third-party domain when it is signed, like with our CERT root certificate. But there are two more levels. One of them is the manufacturer domain. Then that usually is true for applications that are installed by Nokia on your phone when you get it, or operator domain, which is applications that are installed by your operator. They both have the advantage that it will never ask for any permission to the user to access the network, for example, or to send messages or make calls, or anything is possible without the user knowing about it. So that would be really nice to create your own worm this way. So what we were asking ourselves is, can we become Nokia? Can we install midlet suites in the manufacturer domain or the operator domain? And the answer is yes, we can. This application prints the IMEI number of the phone itself, which is an operation that you can only do if you are running an application in the manufacturer or operator domain. I'll show later, if there is some time, how to actually do that. It is very trivial to do this, and well, it's so easy it's not funny. So, back to you.
Yeah. So well, if we wrap it up, it's actually there is the NFC is very interesting. It's fresh, challenging, new. We wanted to like, oh, it's new technology. It looks like very easy. People understand. Even my grandma understands this technology. That is nice. But it is smelly, and smelly we mean is like, it's not defined yet. So how far will it go? It's not really, secure. I mean, nobody talks about security. It's only talk about commercial and marketing now. And before we know it, we are in a world with like 100,000 totally crap NFC tools, which are actually mashing up everybody's life, because you can invoke and trivial anti-piracy thingies. So there are lots of attack vectors, because you have inside of this phone you can do stuff. From the outside there are like multiple connection points, APIs from all sides that talk to this NFC part. And it's of course also directly accessible from the outside. So it's interesting to jump into this technology as a hacker. Then if you have it, you can be in manufacturer domain or in operator domain, you can actually create such a worm, which is interesting to do, because it's on everybody's lives, phone, what you use all the time. And if you can pop up some, penis enlargement mail, then it's like you be more in somebody's life as a malware distributor or a spyware or a spammer than you can think of. And so maybe a new business would be the spam filters for NFC messages. But so I guess
if there are no, or at least a lot of questions, we can give a small demonstration now if people are interested.
We do first a demo, and then we get questions. You can also ask questions about the demo. That's maybe good. So I'm gonna unplug my screen for a second and give it to my colleague.
Hope it works.
So it's a demo, and it's again a real life online demo. So if it goes wrong, it's only because it has to. It's always with demos. What we are going to do is we are going to set up the pairing with a beer, and we're going to upload upload an applet. We're going to pair with the beer, and then we're going to read out using a self-written tool by Francois to access low-level functionality on the phone itself. That's what you can do when you have this, when you enable the Bluetooth. This is just accessible without any authentication. It's really nice, because you can get into like the IMEI number, but you can also get into this manufacturer domain, change applets, even make calls through somebody's phone. So Let me pair with your computer.
Yeah, okay, touch the beer.
Yes,
Don't
yes,
touch the beer.
I'll touch the beer. Oh my god. Let's
So
see what
everyone
else.
now accepts this pairing request?
Yeah, pairing with... Yes,
Then
connecting with beer.
It shows something that what was the pin again?
Oh,
1,
that's
2,
the
3,
question.
4.
Yeah, I guess. Default pin.
Okay, so I guess did it create the pairing?
Yeah, I don't get a message.
okay.
But
So-
Bluetooth is off again. That's bad. Sad. Because, yeah, there is maybe a way, because it goes off when it is, timed out. Maybe if we invoke immediately the attack, it probably can work at the time. But yeah, we have to script that all. So we're just gonna use our first attack to enable the Bluetooth on the phone now. And, to get...
Well, why didn't I prepare this? I forgot this one.
So that's actually a trace we recorded, and
Now we're replaying it with a different hardware address to indicate this is actually this computer that it wants to connect to it. So
so this reader is actually replaying this communication that a normal phone would do to the phone. Oh, okay. So this is what happens.
Sometimes the reader needs to be reset. And then
This is the demo part with it. Okay, so we try to
Now
get
it actually
you see,
works.
so and now the Bluetooth sign is on in this phone, and now Francois has 15 seconds to invoke the other one, the other tool. Yes, and we have a message.
That's a
and
problem.
Doesn't work?
No.
It's off now again.
Yeah, something went wrong.
So this is... I guess we have a different...
Something is not okay, but at least this worked last night.
Let's connect my phone to the beer. Maybe my phone works better, because my phone always likes beer better than his phone.
Sure.
Yes? So... if we start it up again, then... I'll touch to the beer and accept it.
Oh.
No, it's a problem.
What? It's broken? No.
Yeah, I guess.
What
So.
happened? Damn.
So let me explain what normally should happen. When we run first we enable this Bluetooth, then you connect to the phone with the tool Gnocchi. You can upload certificates to the phone with that tool, and the point is then it gets into this directory which is normally hidden on the phone, but you can access that just using a normal Bluetooth pairing.
Okay.
So.
Damn.
This tool is open source. It's on Google Code actually.
Which one?
The Gnocchi, right?
Oh, yeah, well, to install certificates yourself, I have a small video for that. Hopefully that will work
Okay,
better.
yes, we have a small video, which is always better to have than an online demo, which kind of stuck. So, and this video shows how you can upload a certificate to a phone using the same tool. I guess I give you the words to you. So.
Yeah, you enter this assumes you already have a pairing with the phone, and then you can just enter the MAC address of the phone and connect to it, and then you can list the installed certificates that were included when you bought the phone, which is what is going to show now. That's the entire list of certificates that is included in this Nokia phone, and this way you can install the certificate. The CA cert, and it shows that it's used for apps signing, which means that it's installed to authenticate Midlet Suite. And then it installs it, and it takes a while, although it says it's installed. Okay. And you can get the list and see that it is added to this list. And also in the phone you can see in the certificate database that it was added. and that you can use it for authenticating Midlet Suite.
Okay, so if you want to play, you have a Nokia phone and you want to play only with the Bluetooth part and the hidden directory, you can also use parts of this. But if you, of course, get your hands on an NSV phone, you can even enable it and try to do more build a worm.
Well, installing the certificates actually works on most Nokia S40 platform phones, so it's not limited to this one. So if someone has a phone and wants to experiment with it, then you can find us and we can help. Or you can download the tool yourself. It's somewhere on...
And in the meanwhile, I guess, yeah, we're ready for some questions. So please raise your hand if you have a question.
Here you can find the tool. So.
That's very good. Seems that we have a very clear story without
Wow.
questions.
Okay, thank you, Roland François.